All right, have 6 o'clock. We'll call this meeting of Budget and Finance Committee to order. We do have a quorum. Mr. Gully said Ms. Overman would be joining us momentarily, so that'll give us another. Everybody should have a copy of the May 18th minutes in your packet. Please review those, and if there are no changes or corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve the. All right, I have a motion to approve the minutes by Mr. Ford. Do I have a second? Second by Jeff Gregory. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Next, we'll move into the trustee cash balance statement, page 5 of your packets. Of course, a reminder to anyone who may be watching, the agenda packet is available on county website, TrazosCounty.tn.gov. Reminder, of course, these are the trustee balances are not fund balance totals. So you can see where we are in terms of trustee balances. Does anyone have any questions on the trustee cash balances? I have a motion to approve the trustee balances by Mr. Ford. Do I have a second? Second by Bubba Gregory. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, trustee balances are approved. Page 6 of your packets be the year-to-year comparison. 101 property tax, you'll see 105.6% of anticipated revenue there. Overall revenue 101 at 79.6%. Expenses at 72.4%. And of course, when we get to the financial statements, you'll see those numbers change a little bit because the numbers in the comparison include the grant totals. In the financial statements, we'll have numbers with grants and without grants. Any questions in the year-to-year comparison? All right, seeing none. Starting on page 7 of your packets, 101 general fund. Let's see the revenue total on page 9. 79.6% total revenues, although if you take out the grant line items, that number is 97.7%. And we are at 91.7% of the current budget year. Any questions on the 101 revenue side? All right, seeing none. 101 expenditures, page 9, and the total on page 10. Total expenditures, 101 is at 72.4% of budgeted expenses. Take out the grant line items, that number is 80.0%. So again, still in good shape on the expense side. Does anyone have any questions on the expenses? All right, page 11, you'll see the sheriff expenditure breakdown. Obviously courtroom security, well under budget, overall sheriff department at 81.5% of expenditures. SROs at 88.8%. Drug enforcement, 85.3%. Jail at 78.7%. Looks like the only, and the workhouse at 81.0%. Looks like the only marked line item in the sheriff's expenditures is jail overtime pay, 54,210, 187, which is at 102.7% of anticipated expenditures. But I believe we will have a budget amendment to take care of that. Everything else looks to be well within line. Thank you. Are there any questions in the sheriff's expenses? All right, seeing none, go to page 12, 111, urban services. Total revenues at 34.7% for the year, but when you remove the grant line items, that number is 96.6%. Of course, the main one on that is the Ward School grant. And of course, some expense from the multimodal grant that has not come in yet either. Total expenditures at 27.0%. Take out the grant line items, that is 66.5%. So again, well within where we ought to be on expenditures on the 111. Page 13, you'll see the sheriff's breakdown on the urban services budget. Total of 86.2% of anticipated spending there at this point of the year. Of course, we're at 91.7% of the fiscal year, so in good shape there. No items there that look to be over where they ought to be. Does anyone have any questions in the 111? All right, seeing none. Page 14, 116, solid waste. Total revenues, 101.3% of anticipated. So mainly because the property tax typically comes in over where we budget. Total expenditures, 70.4% for the year. So again, in solid shape there. Does anyone have any questions in the 116? All right, page 15, 118 ambulance service. Total revenues, 88.3%, which is a little below where we would like to be. But of course, the patient charges run 2 months behind, so that number is only at 60.1%. But total expenditures at 80.9%, so we're in good shape on the expenditure side. And pages 16 and 17, you'll see the breakdown in the ambulance budget line by line. Medical personnel is close to going over. Like May had 3 pay periods, and so the monthly expenditure in that line item for May was a little higher than normal. Like I said, overall in that department is 80.85%. Does anyone have any questions in the ambulance service? All right, seeing none. Page 18, 121, the Core Civic ARPA Fund. Of course, these are just funds that the state pays us that we turn around and pay to Core Civic. They show on our overall budget, but we don't get any real benefit from that. That's just pass-through money. Page 19, County Drug Fund. Hardly anything expended there over the course of the year. Really not much to review there. Pages 20 and 21, 127 and 128, ARPA. You'll see the expenditures there. And just a reminder, with the proposed 26-27 budget, the remaining ARPA funds will be moved over to the 171 capital projects, and these 127, 128 will close out. Any questions in the ARPA? All right, seeing none. 151 debt service is on page 22. Total revenues at 100.7%. Total expenditures at 96.4%. Obviously, May has a lot of debt service items that come due in May. I think about the only ones that haven't come out yet are what the QSCB monthly and the trustee commission has not fully come out yet, and that's about it. Any questions in 151 debt service? All right, seeing none. Page 23, 171 capital projects. You'll see over the course of the year, we've had, of course, the core civic administration fees, some investment income, the increase in our impact fee that we put in place earlier in the fiscal year. A couple of minor expenditures on there. Total balance in 171 is 2,368,013. Of course, we have 2 million of that in the CDs currently that this committee voted to do earlier this year. We did 500,000 on a 6-month, 500,000 on a 1 year, and 1 million on a 2 year. The 6-month 6-month CD will mature on August the 23rd of this year. And at that point, we can decide if we want to do another CD at that time or other options at that point. Are there any questions in the 171? All right, seeing none. Page 24, Highway Department. Of course, the only money they get from the county is the little bit of property tax we give them. Their total revenue is at 47.2%. Total expenditures at 31.2%. Page 25, 141, General Schools. Of course, we're only responsible for their revenues, local revenues. Their total revenues at 96.7% for the year, and total expenditures at 78.8%. So the school system looks to be in pretty good shape. Does anyone have any questions on any of the financial summaries? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them. All right, I have a motion by Bubba Gregory, second by Mr. Ford. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, financial summaries are approved. Next, we'll move into budget amendments. Pretty much, I believe pretty much all, I think all but a couple of these are end of year adjustments. But I'll go through each of these. 101.19, year-end adjustments in the 101, total amount of $21,100. And if those are here, the internal transfer basically means they're going to go over in one expected line item, but they haven't spent everything in another line item. So it's basically moving money from one pocket to another. It's not coming from our fund balance or anything like that. Next is 111.04. Again, year-end adjustments in the urban services budget, total of $5,000. Okay, apologize. I'll go back to the 101.19. That moving is covering overtime in the planning office, covering covering salary overages in the custodial personnel in county buildings, SRO health insurance, jail overtime, and unemployment compensation is what that 101.19 is. Adjustments are going toward. The 111.04 adjustments are going to the sheriff's department, salary line items and benefit line items. Next is 116.04, year-end adjustments in the solid waste, total of $38,000. This is covering salaries for drivers and attendants because of retirements, vacation payouts, and crossover. And again, that's just an internal transfer of funds in that budget. Next to 118.05. This is the one that we deferred last month. Medical staff line items because of vacation payouts and overlapping old and new employees. When it came before us in May, it was 60,000. Looks like it's been reduced to 50,000 total. But that will debit certain line items in the 118 budget and increase the medical staff by 50,000. I think that was the one in the 118 breakdown that was close to being over. So that should cover that line item for the remainder of the year. Next, 131.03, year-end adjustments in the highway department budget, total of 91,800, adding surplus revenue and various year-end adjustments in that department. Next, 141.17, general purpose school, year-end adjustments within the school's health services budget, a total of 9,745. Looks like that is going toward medical personnel, state retirement, other contracted services, and health equipment. Again, an internal transfer within the school budget. Next, 141.18, TISA, 23,972, amending the budget to reflect TISA on behalf payments. Next, 14119, urine cleanup within the special education support services budget, $300. Next, 14120G. This is accounting for a Tennessee Arts Commission grant that the school system received in the amount of $1,220. Next, 14121R. This is $2,862. This is coming from school reserves, amending their budget for credit recovery payroll. Next one, 14122G, summer learning camp, $182,050.07. And this is for the ongoing summer learning camps that the schools are doing right now. And last one, 141-301 are year-end adjustments within the food service program in the amount of $28,900. And that's just a year-end cleanup as well. Does anyone have any questions on any of the budget amendments? All right, I have a motion to approve all budget amendments from Ms. Atwood. Do I have a second? Second by Jeff Gregory. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, all budget amendments are sent forward with favorable recommendation. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I have other discussion items. I don't have anything that I really want. Is there anything that anyone on the committee wants to address this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll move into public comment. Does anyone from the public want to address the committee on any items? All right, seeing no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Atwood and Mr. Ford. We are adjourned. Thank you.